Reese. Welcome to today's lesson on mathematics on discussing bar graphs. Let's get into it.
Yay!
Hey, this is Mr. Pearson,
Power
and
on.
we are going to discuss bar graphs as a way to collect and organize our data. Now, a bar graph is a graph that uses bars, hence the name, of different lengths to compare data. And the bars in a bar graph, they can be vertical, meaning going up and down, or they can be horizontal, meaning they go from side to side. Either way, they help to represent the data that we're trying to give to people, and it's an easy way to organize and display the data. Now, a bar graph, it has some pretty important items, and all bar graphs need to have these parts. So when you're making a bar graph, make sure you include these things. First off, you need to have a title. When people look at your graph, they need to know what information are you trying to give them. In this particular case, this graph that we have here, we're talking about absent students. So that's the title right here. This title is called absent students. We also need to have a scale. Those are the numbers that, depending on if it's a horizontal or vertical, will depend on where they are. That tells you what each one of these lines is worth. So in this particular case, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up. So each line is going to be worth one student. And we need to have labels. These bars wouldn't mean very much if we didn't have labels on them to tell us what each one is worth. Now, because we're talking about absent students, obviously something for school, we're going to label them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so that the people looking at your graph know what each one of those bars mean. We also can put some labels to tell us the day, and over here, what these numbers represent, number of students. So you got to make sure you have a title, make sure you have scale, and make sure you have your labels. The scale on a bar graph is very important. Sometimes it counts by 1, just like in the example we just saw, but other times the scale can be 2, it can be 5, it can be 10, or even more. Always look at the scale carefully. Okay, so here we have a graph. Take a moment to look at that, and there are some questions that go along with it. So you're going to use this graph here to answer the questions that are going to appear. First question is, what is the...
Okay, guys, who can read me that question? Clara.
What is the title of this graph?
Does anyone know what the title of the graph is? Who can answer this question? Abby.
Favorite pizza topping?
And how did you know that?
It says on it.
Okay, can you show us exactly where? Do you want to take my ruler and point it at so everyone could see what you're looking at? Amazing. Good work. Give her a round of applause. Good work, Abby. Okay, so there's going to be a couple more questions, so I'll be calling on some of you.
Title of this graph. Take a look at the graph. Pause the video for a second, and then go ahead and jot that down on a piece of paper. What is the title of this graph? Second question, what is the most favorite topping?
Okay, guys, who can answer what is the most favorite topping? Francis.
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni. And how did you know it was pepperoni?
Because I can see the pepperoni and its bar is the most highest.
Okay, so who can you tell me exactly how many people chose pepperoni?
12.
And how did you know that?
Because the bar is closest to 12. It's like beside 12.
Can you point to it so all our readers and visuals can be seen? Amazing. Thank you. Everyone give them a round of applause. Thank you, Francis. Okay, let's continue.
On this graph, which topping do students like the most? How many more people like mushrooms than like peppers?
6.
Okay, this is a wonderful question. Who can answer this question for me? Hannah.
3.
Mushrooms than peppers. Let's see. So in peppers, how many people like peppers? Who can tell me? You could just shout out the answer if you know it.
3.
3. And how many people like mushrooms?
6.
So we know that 3 plus 3 is?
6.
Amazing. Let's keep going.
So find the bar for mushrooms, find out how much that's worth. Find the bar for peppers and how much that one's worth. And then go ahead and do the math there. And then, and this is a tough one, how many students voted in this survey? How many students?
Okay, guys, how could we find out how many people voted in this survey? Clara,
27.
and how did you know it was 27? Do you want to show us with the ruler?
Because if you add up all of the bars, they equal 27.
Okay, can you break it down for us and how you got that number?
12 plus 5 plus 6 plus 3.
So 12 plus 5 is what?
17.
Let's go. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, yep. So we're at 17, so we did 12 plus 5. Now we're at
Plus 6.
plus 6, which is 16, 17.
24.
Okay.
And then 24 plus 3. 27.
Amazing. Can everyone give a round of applause? Great. Great work. So how many people voted in the survey?
27.
Good.
Voted. Go ahead and pause and figure out the answer and then go ahead and jot that down. Okay, what is the title of this graph? Well, if we look up here, here's the title. It is favorite pizza toppings. I like pizza. My favorite topping happens to be spinach, but that's just me. I wasn't part of the survey, I guess. But the title of this graph is pizza toppings. What is the most favorite topping? Well, we're gonna look and we're gonna find the biggest bar. And obviously the biggest bar here goes for pepperoni. It had 12 votes. 12 votes makes it the pepperoni the most favorite topping. How many more people like mushrooms than like peppers? Well, if we look here, 6 people like mushrooms. Mr. Pearson happened to like mushrooms as well. And only 3 people voted for peppers. So we're gonna take this number here, 6, and we're gonna subtract 3 from it. 6 minus 3 means 3 more people like mushrooms than like peppers. And how many students voted in the survey? Well, we're gonna find out how much each one of these bars is worth. We're gonna add those numbers together. So we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like extra cheese, plus 12 like pepperoni, so that is 17. Plus 6 more like mushrooms, 17 plus 6 is 23. And then 3 people like peppers, so 23 plus 3 would be 26. How many students voted in the survey? 26 students. All right, here's another graph. This one is a horizontal graph, and we have some questions for you.
Okay, let's just skip this part kindly. I think we can
Horizontal
actually
graph,
get there.
and we have some questions for you.
Okay, let's get into our own lesson now. Beautiful. Okay, so based on that video, which one of you can tell me what is a bar graph? We should all know, we heard it. Let's go with Hannah.
Something that you use to vote on something.
Okay, what can we build on this vote on something? What are we collecting? Clara.
Data.
And how did you know we were collecting data?
Because it says that we were collecting data in the video. And we've been learning all about data.
Data management, yes. And when we're collecting data, are we organizing information?
Yes.
Yes. Is that what we all understand?
Yes,
Give me a
ma'am.
thumbs up if you understood that bar graphs organize data or information. Okay, what are bar graphs used for? This is easy, we just answered it. Francis.
Data.
Data. Amazing.
Data.
Okay, so can bar graphs be straight and sideways?
Yes.
So we didn't really get into it, but we could see in the video that there was a sideways bar graph.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. What parts do bar graphs need to have? This is a tricky question, but it was answered. So I'm going to look for my biggest listener in the group. Let's see, who should I choose for this question? Okay, Clara.
Wait, can you repeat the question?
What parts do bar graphs need to have?
Well, they have to have like the grids.
Okay, the grid's great. What else?
They have to have like a title.
A title.
They have
Good.
to have like they have to have, like, for example, like, if you were going to do, like, your favorite pizza topping, you would have to name the toppings, like pepperoni, mushrooms, peppers.
Okay, so
olives.
choices. Who can build on what Clara was saying? Lillian,
You need the numbers that you can.
what are the numbers for? What are they used for?
They're used for to see how many birds
Yes, so how many people? So what do we call that, Francis?
Numbers?
Okay, what is the number line called?
Uh,
Think about it. They use the word starts with S. Who can remember? Abe, can you tell us what the number line is called? On the yeah, it starts with S. Remember, they said in the video. This is a hard one. You want me to remind you guys? It's called a scale. So when you see the number line against the graph, that is identifying your scale. Okay? That is telling you what the bar graph is going up by, and it's also telling you how many people in those bars voted for whichever choice, okay? So when you see the number line, you're gonna see if it goes up by, like what they said, 1s, 2s, 5s, 10s, more so, like different types of numbers. So you're gonna need to know if the bar graph is showing 5 and the bar graph's going up by 5, that one column represents 5. So you're gonna have to look for the in-between numbers because there's gonna be numbers missing. It's not always going up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right?
Yes.
Just like how we count 2, 4, 6, 8, right? Okay. Why are these parts of the bar graph important? Samaya.
If you don't, the reason why they're important because you get to like know, because how are you going to know how much people are there who pick the topic? How will you really know what the level?
Do you need some help, Samaya? Do you want to have someone add on to what you're thinking? You're thinking good ideas. We just need a little bit of help. So who can help us? Abe, why don't you help her? Why are these parts of the bar graph important?
They're important, like, separate the things.
Separate the things. Let's get more technical here. What else could we say? Clara.
To collect our data.
Okay, to collect our data. So why is having a title on your bar graph so important?
So people know what you're talking about.
Yes, you want the reader who's reading your work to be able to identify what it is we're talking about here and what data is presented in front of us. What else other than a title is on a bar graph? We listen to it. Come on. Someone other than Clara, please. Let's see a show of hands. What about you, Francis? What else is on a bar graph other than a title?
Bars.
Yes. Other than the bars.
The title.
Other than the title.
The scale.
The scale. What does the scale represent?
The numbers.
Okay, and why is that important?
Because you know how many people chose that thing.
Yeah, but also what else? What else does it tell us? I just told you, remember? We just spoke about it on why the scale is important because it identifies the increase in numbers. Okay? So that means it shows you how the bar graph is going up. Also, we didn't get into this in the video, I don't think, but when you see this bar graph right here, you're able to see that these are our choices and these are our goals. So our bar graph's listed differently here because it's sideways, but the other one, this would be the y-axis because the numbers were listed here and they were going up this way. So this is the x, okay, and this is the y. And I'll show you better over here.
They're going up by 2.
In this bar graph, they are going up by 2s. Okay. Okay, let's go into our own bar graph and see how far we understand bar graphs based on the video we just learned about. Okay? So I'm going to be asking some of you to participate, so I need good listeners. Okay. So, here, what is this? Based on our conversation we just had, who can tell me? Lily.
Scale.
Scale. And how did you know this was a scale? Yep, scales have numbers on them. And what does this tell us on this scale? Lily. Look at the numbers. numbers. Remember what I said about the scale and it being able to identify where the numbers are? So what is this number going up by? 1. So did you see that when it started at 0 and it went 1, 2, 3? Were you able to identify that this bar graph is going up by 1? And what does this side of this scale represent? Lily. This is the y-axis, you're right, but what is this? The number of? Students, amazing. Okay, so what is the title of this bar graph? Who can tell me? Penny, what is the title of this bar graph?
What is your
Preferred snack
of the day?
Okay, so where are our choices on this bar graph? Who can tell me? Hannah.
At the bottom.
At the bottom. And what is this called? Do you know, Hannah?
The
The x-axis. So this one is y, because it's going up like the letter y. That's how you can remember it. Look, if this was like this way, and you just added 2 little sticks, this would show y. And we know this one's not going to be a y, so it's automatically our x. Okay? Just like a cute little trick. Okay, so who can read me some of our choices? Elena. Cheese. Come closer if you can't see.
Cupcakes,
Crackers.
crackers,
And
oranges.
oranges. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little vote in here. Collect art. What are we collecting about? Data. Thank you. Data management. Beautiful. Okay, so I just want to show a list of hands because today there are a couple of us in the classroom. A couple of us are missing, so we don't quite have 21 people here. So we know automatically there won't be 21. Thank you, Clara. Okay, so raise your hand. You only get to choose once. Okay, so your vote is only happening once. Don't raise your hand multiple times, just once. Raise your hand if you would choose cheese, or raise your hand if you'd rather choose crackers, and then raise your hand if you'd rather choose oranges. So my first option is going to be cheese. If you'd rather have cheese as a snack, raise your hand.
Wait, what?
If you'd rather have cheese as a snack, raise your hand. Okay, so 3 of us?
No, actually, 2.
Okay, so is that 3? Am I correct?
2.
Only 2 of us? Just to confirm, only 2? Yes? Just 1. Okay. So, Samaya, come and show us how we could draw our first bar graph. And we're going to make this one pink, guys. It's good to identify the color. So, if this is the 1, then how big is our bar going to be? Is it going to stay at the 1? Because there's only 1 person here, remember? And this is showing number of people. Are you 1 person?
Yeah, but like there's 3 people raising their hands. So that
Oh, at the end of the survey, 1 person only wanted cheese, right? Okay, so we're gonna write it out once. So I want you to just draw a line and then make a box at the end. Okay? Yep. All the way to the end of the box, cheese. Good. Now write down the box. Good. Just like that. And we're gonna just color this in quickly. Right? Just like that. Can everyone see that there's only 1 block for cheese?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to want to switch our colors too. It'll be easier to identify our information. Okay. So for our crackers column, if you'd rather have crackers as a snack, raise your hand. Remember, guys, you only get to vote once. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. That's 3 people, right? Caspin, you want to come up here and do the 3 columns?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So, you see how that's at 3? Okay, perfect. So I want you to draw a line, just like a little box, just like she did for the cheese, okay? I'm going to hold it so your line's straight. Good. Now can you color in our box? Doesn't need to be perfect, just show us. Nope, it's at 3. You see?
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Caspin. Okay, so I'm assuming based on this data that oranges is going to be a skyrocket. Okay, so oranges, let me count you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of you like oranges? Okay, sure.
Wait, so how many 11?
So 11. Let's use the black marker. Hopefully this marker works. Okay, so this is our 11. We're gonna move all the way up our oranges. I'm gonna have to correct it. Beautiful. Now fill in our chart. Doesn't need to be perfect, remember, just give it a little scratch so we know that the orange is the black marker. Oh, she's going into detail. We love her work ethic. Okay, amazing. Okay, based on this information, what can we see here? So, I'm gonna ask one of you how many people like cheese. Okay, let's see someone who hasn't talked. Asher,
One.
how did you know there was one person?
Because I see one block.
You see one block. So we automatically knew that cheese one person liked, right? Okay, what about our crackers? Who can tell me? Penny.
3.
Yeah, there was 3 people who liked crackers, and how did you know it was 3? Because you saw that the bar went all the way to the 3?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. We love that answer. Okay, so for the last one, Lillian.
11. The bar was up to 11.
Amazing. So you automatically could read that there was 11 people that liked oranges, right? So why is it important for us grade 2s and 3s that we put the number in or on top of our bars when we're making our bar graphs? Who can tell me? Caspin.
I'm gonna ask something else. There's 20 people, but that makes 15.
Well, I guess some of our friends decided to not vote, which is okay. Maybe they just don't like these snacks. That's fine. We'll just take this data and we'll move forward with this, okay? So, why, I forgot my question now, I lost my train of thought. Why is it important we put our numbers at the top or in our bar graphs when making our bar graphs? That was my question. Hannah.
Because so we don't have to count them again?
Yes, we don't need to count them again, but also what would it help us? Yeah?
So you don't have to, you don't have to go like across the line and count how many blocks you stacked up, and you can just write it in there.
So I'm getting kind of the same answer. So maybe if we identified how many people were in each column right away, when it came to writing the rest of our work, we already have the answers on our paper, right? It would help us, it would remind us how many are in each column, and also make it easier for us grade 2s and 3s to read our work, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, so do we kind of understand how a bar graph works now?
Yes.
Do you feel confident enough to work on a worksheet for yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so before I send you off and do your worksheet, I'm just gonna go over a couple questions of the worksheet with you. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So looking up at the screen, please. Who's Abe? Okay. Wait, stop. Start again.
Provide extra information. Label on the axis of our graph is described as being like there are 2 axes on a graph, the x-axis and the y-axis.
Do we remember what the X and the Y are? Give a show of hands. Thumbs up if you remember. Okay, amazing. So, let's have another reader. Clara.
Complete the bar graph below. The title is Grade 2 Students' Favorite Colors. The y-axis is number of students. The x-axis is colors. The sources in
Great.
is grade 2 students.
Okay, so based on what Clara just said, who can tell me what the title of this bar graph down here is? Let's get a different speak person who hasn't spoken yet. Francis, why don't you tell us what the title of this graph is, based on the information we have in front of us?
The different colors.
Read it. It says it right there.
Where?
Okay, who can help him?
Green, red, blue, orange.
No. Where is the title of this graph? Who can help him?
Oh,
Abe,
it's after.
can you go show him where it is? grade 2 students' favorite colors. Thank you, Abe. Give him a round of applause. Good reader. Okay, so we already have this information given to us. So the worksheet's pretty self-explanatory. Let's see. Grade 2 students' favorite colors. Are you guys grade 2s?
No.
Some of us are. Okay, so it says the y-axis is number of students. So where would I put this information? Who can show me? Other than Abe? Elena, show us where we would put this information. Number of students. Where would we put it? Remember? It says, look, read the question. The y-axis is number of students. So where would we put this information? On the bottom? Are you sure? Where do you see the y-axis on our grid?
On the side of the sheet.
Amazing, that's right. This is where we're going to put number of students. Now, boys and girls, remember what I said to you in our lesson? Whenever you see the scale, which in this case is going up by, what can you tell me it's going up by? 2s. We already know this is the number of people surveyed in our survey, right? In this case, our people are little students, just like yourself. Okay, moving forward. Who can read the rest? The x-axis is, Lillian, continue. The x-axis is colors. Where do we put this? Yep. At the bottom. How did you know that?
Because the axis is at the bottom.
Amazing work. She's right. Okay. Now, the source is grade 2 students. Where do we put this final step they're asking of us? Where should we put it, guys? Tell me, Lillian.
Below the x-axis.
Yes. So this is the front page we did together. Do we kind of have an understanding where our information goes on our graph?
No.
No? Okay. How may I help you? What do you not understand?
It's confusing a little bit.
Okay, so our title is given to us. It says the title is grade 2 students. This is our title. There was a line. We took this information and placed it under title. Then following, they said the y-axis is number of students. So we discussed whenever we see our scale, which is where the numbers will be on our graph. In this case, they're going up by 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is our y-axis, and then there was a blank column. So we put in number of students. And then it asks the x-axis is colors. So where do we have an x-axis? Axis line right below our bar graph. And then finally, they've given us our information for our source. So we kind of already have our information for our source based on our title. So our source in this case, for the type of people that were surveyed, were grade 2 students. Do you understand better now?
Yes.
I will leave this one on the screen when I send you off. So, are there any more questions regarding bar graphs? Do we all feel confident that we can answer this worksheet?
Yes.
Okay, so once you're finished this side, since we did it together, on the back, I want you to attempt to do it yourself, and then I'm going to call you back at about 1:15, and we're going to review it together and see what kind of answers we came up with. Okay? 1:15, that's it, so we don't miss our icon. Okay?
We have to do a quick one.
Is it 1:20? I got no clue. Okay, I'm gonna send you all to your desk. So on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Everyone, go to your desk. Thank you for noticing that. Oh, I love when I see Lily knowing exactly where to put her information. And look, she even circled it so she could recall where it was. That's good work, Lily.
I'm done now.
Okay, let's see what she wrote here. So we got the title. Let's see. Did you follow the information? Good. Did we know this was the number of students? Good. This is on colors. Let's make that colors. Good. Then we got grade 2 students. How did we know that? Because all of it's provided to us. Amazing. Okay. Next one. How many students like apples? Oh, good work. And how did you know there was 9?
because it goes to here and it goes by 2, then that's 9 in between.
Good work. How many people's like pears? 2. Good. How many students were surveyed in total? 24. 2. And then we knew that there were 7 oranges. So tell me exactly how you did this.
So 9. 9 plus 7, 16. Then if you put these 3 together, it's 22. And then 24. 2 plus 2 is 4. So then if you put that all together, it's 24.
Okay, so you built it into a double and then you added your lowest column last, right? Okay. Now that we did this, we're gonna know where we did this one. We did this one. So now we have 15. So what do we need to add? 16, 17. We're at 17. Now what do we need to add? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There you go. Just like that. Now you work. Now you're working. I see you. Good work. You can work on a picture until we catch it up. Okay, so Samaya, where can you find this information? Where can you find this information? Did we just do it as a class? So how would we get some of the answers to like help us or redirect us based on what's in front of us? Yes, we read this because all the answers are in this column. Read it and come back to me. And do you need some help, sir?
No.
Okay, you're good?
I need help.
Let's see. How many students like apples? 9. How many students like pears? Good. 24. Apples. And this is how we write pears. Okay, guys. How did we all feel about the last page on our math assignment?
Good.
Good? We felt confident?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let's quickly review. Who can tell me how many bananas there are in this chart? Clara.
6.
And how did you know there was 6?
Because if you look from right here, you go over 6.
Okay, that's right. Good work. And who can tell me how many there was apples? Francis.
9. 9.
And how did you know there was 9?
Because what's in the middle of 8 and 10?
So you went and took your line and went right into between and understood there were 9 because 8 and 10 in between there is 9. Excellent. And for pairs, who can tell me how many there were? Samaya.
2.
2. And how did you know there were 2?
Because it goes a cut and it goes to 2 and it actually shows.
Yeah. Amazing. Good work. And oranges. Who can tell me about the oranges? Why don't we try a new speaker? Shamar.
It doesn't show it, but it's actually right here, but it doesn't show it.
Yeah. So what's between 6 and 8?
7.
7. Amazing. So we kind of could read our bar graph. If it wasn't going at a 2 number, like a number going up by 2, it was in between 2. So 6 and 8 are multiples of 2. And between 6 and 8 there are 7, right?
Yep.
Okay, so who can tell me what this in number column represents again? What is the word? What's the word we use? Starts with an S. What's that word called, Shamar?
Scale?
Scale. This is our scale. And what can we notice about our scale right here? Clara.
It's going up by 2s.
It's going up by 2s. Everything's a multiple of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And our bar chart only goes up to 10. So what is the scale on? What side? Clara.
The Y.
The y-axis. You're right. And what did I tell you that little trick was to know it was the y-axis?
It's always on the side, and then the X is always like
On the bottom. Yep. So this scale represents what? What does the scale represent on this bar graph? Who can tell me? What does the scale represent? What is this? Clara.
the number of students.
Amazing. And based on this bar graph, how many students were there? How many students were there in this bar graph?
24.
24 people were surveyed, but if we had an idea of how many students there were, and we knew that there was 24 people surveyed, how do we get this number? Like, how can we break down the math to make it easier for our friends? Clara.
You could go like 9 plus 6 plus 7 plus 2 equals 24.
Okay, so the way Ms.Kats did it is she went 6 plus 9 equals 15. Then she took 15, her whole number, after she created a double digit, and added the 2 from the pairs, which gave her 17. And then from 17, I knew the only number I hadn't added yet was the oranges, which was 7, which gave me a total number of 24. Did everyone here end up with 24?
Yeah. I got 23.
Okay, well you were close, and that's what counts. It's all trial and error. Okay, so how many students liked apples? Clara.
9.
And how many students like pears? Lily.
2.
And how many students were surveyed in total? Abby?
24.
Amazing. And what was the most popular fruit? Shamar.
Apples.
And what was the least popular fruit? Pears. Okay, so what did only few people like then? Or some people like? This is not on the paper, guys.
Wait, what?
This wasn't on the paper. What did some people like? We know what was the least, what was the most, but what did only some like? Shamar.
Crackers?
Crackers on our bar chart. What about this one?
Oranges.
Oranges, or we could say bananas, because they're roughly around the same, right?
Yeah.
So both of those would be acceptable. Okay, well, thank you guys for understanding some bar graphs with me today. I look forward to next bar graph lesson on Tuesday. Yay!